Harriet, Dr. Tamil Selvi, Arzad. Each of you have a vibrant yet different background, but yet your journey all brought you to this media literacy programming through the Disarming Disinformation Project. Harriet, you persevered through life's challenges and followed your passion of journalism and becoming a journalist. Dr. Tamil Sevi, your path took you on academia with an adjacent pursuit of fact checking. And Arzath, you are an information technology specialist with peace building in Sri Lanka in your background. So let's get right into it. Harriet, let's begin with you. Tell us about your journalism journey, what brought you to media literacy, and a little bit about the audience that you wanted to reach through this program, which was women and school children.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. First of all, greetings from wherever you are. In Kenya, it's evening, so good evening if you're watching us from East Africa, and from the other parts of the world, receive greetings depending on where you are. I'm so glad to be here. First of all, I'll walk through my journey in a nutshell. My journey in journalism started about 10 years ago at the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, UBC. And then in 2018, I joined Amani FM, which was a community radio, as the station manager. And that's where my management journey began. And as a manager of a community radio, I interacted directly with the community, and my passion has always been on women and girls. And after that, in 2021, I joined REF FM, a community radio that serves the refugee community in Kakuma. Kakuma is actually one of the biggest refugee camps in Africa. So having been a manager inside the refugee camp also exposed me to various aspects of community service. And again, going back to Amani FM, it was a community that did not believe in women leadership. So I had to work twice as hard to be validated as a station manager. So those are just some of the issues that actually motivated me to work more for the community. And for the few of you that know my story, I grew up, I had a very difficulty growing up. I faced a lot of difficulties while growing up. One of the issues I faced as a young girl was sexual harassment, gender-based violence, and every other challenge that someone can face growing up from this side of the environment. So I vowed that I must one day give a platform or create a platform for women and girls to be heard. That's why around 2021, I formed Mama Dada CBO, and in 2023, we set up Dada Radio, a community radio that aims at bridging information gap among rural women and girls by enabling them to be part of the community and development agenda, and also giving them a voice to be heard. And due to what I went through, the experience that I went through, I have always wanted to work with women and girls because nobody gave me a listening ear, nobody gave me an opportunity to, I did not have the power to defend myself. And that is why I told myself, with every opportunity that I'll get, I will make sure that I will give women and girls an opportunity to be heard and to speak up. So why did I decide to, on that project on media information literacy training, why did I pick on women and high school students? First of all, where we are in this part of the continent, it is believed, I don't know whether it's a myth, that women spread information very fast. I hope it is the case all over the world that women share information so fast. So it is only fair that you train these women on the effect or impact of sharing information, because the information shared, especially if it is misinformation or disinformation, it can be very, very harmful. So it was just vital that we train the rural woman on how to first of all ensure that any information that they are carrying is verified or fact checked before they share amongst themselves. And for me, I believe that an informed woman is an empowered woman. And when a woman has the right information, it means that she can take the right decision. And this, in turn, leads to peaceful coexistence in the community. And in the long run, you'll realize that community development will really improve or increase because this woman is making an informed decision. And this all comes after enlightening them on how important it is to have the right information in the first place. And then why did I choose to work with high school students? Again, my growing up has a lot to do with this. At some point, I had given up, though I had dreamt that I would one day become a journalist, though I did not know how. And at some point, I almost gave up in life. I almost gave up in, following my career. So while in high school, my school used to organize people to come and motivate us, motivational speakers, and at some point, that's what turned my life around. So for me, working with these people, I see the little me in those girls. I see the little me in those students, people who are very passionate about what they want to do, but again, they don't know how. So I picked on working with the students because I know at that point, one, they are journalists already, they are sharing information among themselves while at school. And number two, there's someone who would want to become a journalist in future, but they don't know how. So having me there, having me share my story with them and also open their eyes about the world out there actually motivates and inspires them to follow their dreams. So that is why I decided to work with high school students. And so far, I must confess that I have seen huge impact. I've seen, people asking questions that are very objective as far as their career is concerned. And having the media and information literacy training for these young people or upcoming journalists has actually already begun impacting them, has begun, shaping way for their journalism career in future. So for me, it is something that is very, very personal, and I believe that whatever you do, no matter the resources you have, just make that impact, and the rest will follow. Thank you.
Thank you, Harriet. There's no doubt that your passion and the mentorship that you are sharing with the women and the students, it will have a lasting impact on them and really help shape the future too as well. So thank you. Thank you. All right, Dr. Tamil Selvi, you're an academic who started fact checking and already had a little bit of training in media literacy through the Indian organization Data Leads. What along your journey steered you back into media literacy? And tell us a little bit about your audience.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Brittany, and thanks to ICFJ for this opportunity. And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, assalamu alaikum, and vanakkam to people all over the world who are listening and from different parts of the world. And I'm a media academician, and I'm really thankful for the job that I'm doing because I love to do teaching. And to start with my academic, my journey as a fact checker, it began with a tragic incident actually, which happened in 2017 and 18 in India, where an educational video which was created to spread awareness about child kidnapping from Pakistan was edited and shared to spread a panic throughout India, saying that there are child kidnappers who have come from North India to the south and from south to the north, and they are trying to kidnap children. And this incident led to mob lynching and death of more than 25 innocent lives throughout India. And this incident, it saddened me, it deeply impacted me, and it highlighted the urgent need to educate people. So after this, I started talking about this incident in my class regularly to students because that was when people started using social media crazily. So I thought it is good to educate young minds about this. So I regularly made it a practice to discuss about this in class. And then after that, COVID happened. And during the pandemic, there were so many, again, we were hit by infodemic as well. And luckily, that time I had the chance to receive specialized training from Fakshala, which is a news and information literacy program run by Data Leads with support from Google. And after completing the training, I conducted media literacy workshops to many college students and also to women self help groups, empowering them to critically analyze the content they encountered online. My journey in fact checking became more intense after another incident, another tragic example. Again, I want to quote a viral post which claimed to have doctors, more than 100 phone numbers of doctors who will be reachable for emergency assistance during the pandemic. So I tried to contact, I tried to dial the numbers to reach out to them, to doctors, just to fact check, nothing else. I mean, I did not have any emergency, but then out of curiosity, the numbers kept repeatedly, they've been shared in groups, in WhatsApp groups and in social media. So I thought I should fact check this, and I called the numbers, and to my surprise, I none of the phone numbers were working. They were either not reachable, or they were not in use, and they were or simply wrong numbers. And sometimes when I call, people even told me, like, I don't even know who gave this number, how my number got into the list. I've been getting more than 60 phone calls a day. So it baffled me that someone would do such a thing at a crucial time when doctors were in need. So I thought, as a fact checker and as a media academician, I should definitely fight this. And so we formed a team along with like-minded people, volunteers, journalists from South India. We tried to collect health misinformation, and whatever post was shared, any information about oxygen or medicine, anything that was shared, we tried to debunk. And we slowly started a Facebook page, which has now become a website, and we are debunking fake news in regional language for reach for everybody. And then after that, I got job in Oman, and I had to shift here to work. And that was when I heard about ICFJ disarming disinformation, and I thought I should never miss this opportunity. And that's how this whole journey started.
And tell us a little bit about the audience that you identified for this program.
The audience, actually, when I attended the program from ICFJ after my disarming disinformation training, I thought it will be very easy for me as a teacher to get the students as my audience. And so I reached out to my students as well as my colleagues, the teaching and the non-teaching staff of Bayan College. And initially, there was some skepticism. They were not very interested to get into the program. But then, after I convinced them about the importance of learning media literacy, they were convinced and they came to the program.
Wonderful, thank you. And it really speaks to the experiences that you saw and how you molded those to pave a path forward to help shape the future. All right, Arzath, over to you. So you have an information technology background, but you are also a peace builder. And so you combine those two by paving your own path and launching your initiative, Digizen, to create access to digital peace building. So how did you anticipate media literacy impacting your work? And tell us about your community and the audience that you reached through this program.
Yeah, hello everyone. First of all, this is Arza. Thanks for giving me this opportunity, Brittany and Devin. So for my journey start in 2009 when the civil war has been end officially. They said in Sri Lanka, 2009. So after the war, we supposed to have some reconciliation process. So I started working as a volunteer in organization called Sri Lanka Unites. So this is my first experience as a peace builder. So we have been working as a volunteer, then a team member, then a mentor trainer, like for 10 years. So that was my peace building journey in Sri Lanka. We were mostly working with youths, literally, basically school students. So after 10 years working as a peace builder, I have started doing my personal, I took a break in a couple of years and tried to focus on my professional thing as a software developer. I worked in a corporate. Then after that, I left the corporate and went back to my college. And until this moment, I'm working as an instructor there. So when I'm working as an academia, that days, Sri Lanka had a lot of internet usages, Facebook's introduced and social media boom happened. So I supposed to see like a lot of youths are in Facebook uh, where they need to organized, right? So there is no limit. You can share anything. Even Sri Lanka still struggling to moderate the content which are in Facebook. But Facebook already have in Sri Lanka. They have a office and representative, but still we are facing. Think about 2018 and 17. So those days it's very hard to moderate content. So what I'm seeing online was like there are a lot of hate speech happening like those disinformation like it fuels some racism attack and real world incidents like the mosque were burned, so those days some extreme groups are trying to spread some propaganda things, most of the disinformations. They are telling they're having a public meeting and gathering people and telling lots and lots of things. Everything is disinformation. So those kind of misinformation are spreading. So the real incident was happen that what makes me to contribute these things. I'm working. I'm from a village in eastern province, Sri Lanka. I'm working in a town which is majority people are there. So in my institute, we all religion and ethnic groups are there, but majority people of Sri Lanka. So there is it's a, like a majority town. Okay, so there is a shop which I used to eat every Friday. There is a minority. It's run by minority person. That shop was burned one day because of a misinformation of what's called like a sterilization kind of things. So that is a real disinformation. After that, that was fact checked and revealed, but that incident was happened. So as a peace builder and activist kind of background, I wanted to do something. So then, with the help of my friends and my students, I have started that initiative called Digizen. And from 2019, we started doing some workshop here and there. It's not organized, but mostly we are trying to cover the media literacy. That days I don't hear this term media literacy, but I actually wanted to teach how to be safe on internet and how to counter the hate speech and how to identify the disinformation. Right. So after I've conducted some workshop and do something, I could able to see like uh, people get stronger to be online, right? In my community those days, even people fear of using internet, especially women. They're really feared. They don't put their photos or even having a social media account is like a taboo kind of things. It's not accepted by the community. So I wanted to tell them, teach them how to use safely and how much information you can give, how much information you have to have your control of, those kind of things I'm teaching. So like after that, I got introduced by these ICFJ things and I applied. Then I got the chance to have a like a real structured fact checking training thing. So after that, everything happened. I have done the workshops and had a lot of experience. What I'm seeing, these things, this media literacy and stuff, gives confidence to be in online. And I have seen some of my participants done some fact check on scams. There are a lot of scams happening these days. So, and also it's improved the minority communities' narratives online. So they could be able to narrate their own stories. So those things, so I'm seeing as a success of these things or need for these media literacy things. Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you. And we'll get into impact too as well shortly. So let's shift to talk about your workshops. Each of you were tasked with reaching at least 60 community members for the workshops or for the communities you identified. preparing and executing workshops looks very different for different countries, different languages, different local communities within each country. So let's talk a little bit about how you approached your workshop and what is one best practice that you would like to share with our audience. Dr. Tamil Selvi, let's start with you.
Sure. Initially, when I started the workshop, when I planned for the workshop, I used the college LMS system to reach out to my target audience, who are students. So it was very easy for me to talk to them, to ask. So I basically thought that the number would be very large considering the number of students I teach. So I initially made a Google form to ask students for their willingness to participate in the workshop. But then, to my surprise, I found out that they were not actually much interested, because the fake news was an alien term according to them. So then I had to talk to them, convince them, and made them. I decided I will take one particular class and focus on them. And I also thought that the language would be a barrier, because I do not know Arabic, and my students they do understand English, but I thought reaching out to them about fake news in their regional language will have better impact than me talking in English about them about the content. So I had a co-trainer with me, and before starting the workshop, I also made a 2-minute video about what is misinformation, malinformation, disinformation, and I had the presenter also along with me. So whatever terms that the students could not understand much in English, I asked my co-presenter to to translate that in Arabic. But many students, as and when the workshop progressed, they felt very comfortable discussing with me in English, and they started giving examples of their real life examples for how they were being victim of fake news. And after the session, they also asked me to conduct workshop for their parents, and so that also gave me another idea to the students here is actually not the normal crowd that we usually have in colleges. It is students who study part time as well, who are actually from the Ministry of Higher Education, from the Ministry Royal Oman Police, and it's basically the government private sector people who study as well as work. So it's a mixed group. So it was when I did the workshop to this particular group, one particular class, I found out that the special training was needed for students who are, to audience who are about 25, about 30. So I conducted exclusively another session for them. And that again made me conduct another session for the non-teaching staff of the college. So which was only Omani staff. I did not include the expatriates. It was only exclusively for Omani staff. And yeah, there were challenges like sudden weather and all this, but still they love to participate, and it was very successful. And the one best practice which I would like to highlight here is, it's my passion to teach fact checking, to explain things it is from my heart when I teach fact checking. But still, I had a co-presenter because I had to understand the language barrier that I have. So it is actually very nice when people listen in their own language to have a better impact. So I will say that whoever wants to conduct a training have to understand, analyze the audience profile also, and have a co-presenter accordingly.
Thank you. And actually, since you mentioned the weather as a challenge, let's go ahead and also include a challenge as well, because we all face challenges. So, did you face anything other than weather, and how did you overcome working around weather? Because that's completely out of our control, right? We can't control the weather. How did you work around that, and was that your biggest challenge?
So actually, when more than the training I had, the challenges I faced were it was a surprise for me initially, because I thought that I'm not going to be able to accommodate the students in my class. But when I told about this, the initial response was like, "What are you talking about? Fake news doesn't exist in Oman. Everything here is controlled by the ministry. and they filter news for us. And I did talk to the minister also of information and broadcast, and she said, yes, news is regulated here because we want only positive things to go to the people. So in this scenario, when I go and tell students or my colleagues that there is fake news, they were like, are you questioning how the ministry is functioning here, like that? So I didn't want to get into trouble, basically, because I'm an expatriate who's come from another country to work here. So I said, no, I'm not blaming the ministry. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying that without their control also, there are chances that fake news can be circulated. And still they did not like the idea that there is fake news in Oman. So I told them, like, okay, come listen to me, sit down in the class and just listen to what I have to say. And after that, when I did not start directly, I know with this group, with their mindset, if I start with the first slide of what is information, what is misinformation, disinformation, they will not listen. So I showed them examples. I straight away went to the examples of how there were cockroaches swarming in Mecca and how it was stopped, and how there was snow in Oman, how there was snow in Saudi, and of course there is snow in Saudi and Oman. That's not fake news, but how that was told as fake news in other countries, in other regions. And all these information when I gave them, and about vaccination, about COVID vaccine, how a particular COVID variant can cause infertility to women. All these examples when I showed them, and especially about weather, because here the old news was circulated as something new. I mean, as recent news, and so students were sharing that with us and saying, is the college working today or not, like that. So when I showed all these examples, they were baffled. They were like, wow, fake news does exist, and it does exist in the Gulf region. After that, slowly, the students also started giving their own examples. After listening to them, finally they were convinced, okay, they can listen to me. And then that was a sudden realization for them. Then they said they want their parents to be educated about this, and then they gave idea about the media literacy club, which we slowly executed. And uh, weather was a main concern, because the workshop was planned well ahead. But then suddenly the climate here is unpredictable. Suddenly it rains, and it rains, even a few drops can create flood here. So uh, student again faculty were not willing to come to college, and even if they had come to college, they were not in the mood to listen to the class and all that. So again, we had to make it like a thanks to again ICFJ for the wonderful session that I learned in the TOT, where you have the ice breaking session, how to make it very interactive. All that helped me a lot. So I did not even make them listen to my lecture like how in a classroom setup. I made them sit in circle and have some discussion, had many ice breaking sessions, and then slowly started, which they all enjoyed.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yes, that is something that we are just so passionate about. And part of how at MediaWise we approach the media literacy is you start with an example, you make it engaging, you captivate the audience. So it's not so much a talking to them, it's a talking with them and getting them to discuss. All right,
Exactly.
Arzad, over to you. So let's talk about how you went about preparing your workshop. And let's talk too about the best practice and also a challenge that you faced and how you overcame it.
Okay, for me, working with different community was a challenge. So what I've done is like most of the time I've tried to keep the training programs participant centered. Like I wanted to learn their community's background, what are the information they are getting, those kind of. So what I've done is I was trying to talking to the community leader in that community where I wanted to do the training program. So then I got a lot of information about the people. And there was a mistake I have done. Like I tried to get a survey kind of thing. So I wanted to know the knowledge level of the participants before conducting the workshop. So first I sent a Google form, very simple questions about their background, but I didn't get any response. That was mistake. Then I'm checking why I'm not getting response, because I sent the Google form in English, right? So they are not even okay to fill that form, but it's very simple question. Then I translated the form in Tamil language. So then a lot of people are responding. So we have to know the context before doing the workshop. That is another thing. And the challenge, like getting the attention of the Gen Z, it's very hard, so we can't like take it as a lecturing kind of things. My practice was like I used to do lectures, so I'm always trying to not to do the lectures. So that's what I'm trying to plan. And another thing we can do like first when I start the workshop, we have to create an aha moment. So they want to know. We have to make kind of things like they just need the information, right? If I'm telling like you have to learn fact check, you have to be aware. They won't give the attention because first of all they want to know why they need the fact check. So we are starting the the basic things and first why they really need the fact checking thing. So then only we can give the idea about the fact check. Another thing, in my first workshop, I have done 4 workshops after this ICFJ thing, this fact checking thing. My first workshop, like I try to give a lot of information to the people. Like I prepare a lot of slides, like it's 83 slides. Don't do that, right? So like just give the basic understanding of the media literacy, then you can do a lot of like fact checking things, practical things. That's what really works. For my first workshop, like I tried to keep the people in the attention. It was like some people, the eyes are closing when I'm talking. So I didn't get any feedbacks because from the audience face, I got the feedback. No, don't do this kind of workshop. Then I really done the practical things, the teamworks. My other 3 workshop was really success. And then they wanted to do workshop like me. So then the ambassador things I have mentioned, right? Ambassador things, they went to their community and do the workshop because that's fun. If you want to work with Gen Z, you should make everything like kind of gamified. What I do, like for single example, I can say like I'm doing a lot of Tamil content. So I have used Tamil film actors, Vijay and Ajit. They're very famous actors. So I'm using fact things related to them. There are a lot of fake photos are there. So when I'm use those things, they got interested. So those kind of things we can do, like my very big experience is don't try to like give what you know, right? Give the important things, interested things. They just only need the core things, not everything, because the media literacy and fact checking is a very huge area. So we have to like point and shoot. So that is my kind of experience.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so important to you really just hit it with one, making sure that questionnaires it's in local language, right? It's relevant. It's not this wait, who and what is sending this, but also to making the presentation engaging and not 83 slides. And that really captivates, that resonates, and that sticks with people. Learning is by doing. Thank you. Okay, Harriet, over to you. Tell us about your best practice and a challenge that you faced as you prepared your workshops.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brittany. First of all, for me, the most basic thing was psychological preparation. It is very important. It's a part that before you start any training, you cannot ignore. You have to prepare psychologically, because you may get there and you go blank. Everything disappears, whatever you knew. So make sure you prepare yourself very well. Just after preparing your slides, just have a good rest, eat well, sleep well, and go for it when that day comes. It really helps. And again, affirm yourself, tell yourself positive things, tell yourself you can. And another thing is do research, at least know what your audience know and what they don't know. And just as my 2 colleagues have already said, they shared a Google form. I also did the same, and it helped me to know what my trainees or what my learners know and what they don't know, so that it can also help me to know which approach I'm going to give during the training. and also to avoid repeating so much what your people already know. So after knowing what they already know, it will help you to also save on time. You'll just peruse through what they know and take more time explaining what your learners do not know. Another thing for me is as simple as having clean slides. It also gives you confidence when you're presenting in front of people. And that is one thing I learned during the training in Nairobi. It really helped me, honestly. Clean slides also boost your confidence during the training. It may look simple, but you know you have to have something that when you present in front of people, they'll also admire your work first. And that way you'll find a very easy time, because they know that you know what you're doing, and they'll believe more in you. Another thing during the training, my colleagues have mentioned that as well, using the relevant examples. For instance, in Kenya during that time when we were training, it was during a flooding season. It was during rainy season, and there were so many floods. So you find that there were so many images that were going online, saying that this is happening in Nairobi, this is happening in Kenya. Yet some of them were taken in 1996 in South Africa or somewhere totally different from Kenya. So, and funnily, some of the radios, while I was training the radio stations, some of the radios had posted these images in their social media handles. So we fact checked these images, their origin, using reverse image search and other tools. And actually, they were shocked to see that they have already shared this on their social media pages, yet it was a wrong image. So that really helped, using the relevant examples at that time, what is happening in your country and within the locality. Another thing is using other methods like group discussion. It proves very effective. You find that there is a lot of information, some of which you don't even know, that comes up during the discussion, during the presentations. So let these people share the knowledge that they have. It will also, it will widen also your knowledge. It will also expand your knowledge in some aspects. So do not go there to enjoy monopoly of knowledge. No one has monopoly of knowledge. While you're at it, you're also learning, because we don't know 100%. Yeah. So group discussions really helped me, and it also made the classes very, very active and attentive, other than just standing there and lecturing your learners. Sometimes it gets too boring. So ensure that you incorporate other aspects as well, like group discussion, icebreakers, and all that. Some icebreakers that we did were very, very helpful in terms of helping me explain a certain message. For example, I just used it's called the Chinese telephone or broken telephone or something. Yeah, I think it's a very simple one. But at the end of the training, I realized that it was so much impactful than even the slides that I had made. So incorporate different aspects of learning to ensure that your learners learn and also enjoy themselves. And another thing that I used is the choice of venue. uh, for me, I was training in the rural areas, and I'm training women. You don't want to start sharing the location. You pin the location for a rural woman who doesn't even have a smartphone. So if you have a central point where you just tell them we are meeting at a certain community hall or at a certain place where everybody knows, like in my case, I had it in a marketplace. That's where these women go to buy lunch. That's where they buy their dinner and everything. So when I told them we are meeting at this place, no one actually even struggled to find the venue. They actually, some of them even came before me because they knew the venue already. So you also have to consider that. So that you give your learners an easier time. And the last one is at least provide transport reimbursement. It motivates them. Some of these people just come because they had you're going to give them reimbursement. And before they get the reimbursement, they have received the information that you want to share. So the reimbursement comes last after they have learned. And at the end of the day, you've reimbursed them and they have learned, and you've already achieved your objective. So do not ignore these very, very little details. They may look tiny, but at the end of it all, they are very effective. Now, on the challenges, I think Tamil also faced the same challenge as me. It was during rainy season, and at this at our place, it was raining. It could rain like for 24 hours. Fortunately, at that that week, it could rain at least, and then at around 1 to 3, it could like stop a bit and then continue in the evening. So what I did, I took advantage of 1 to 3. That's the time that's the time they are available. The women are available because during rainy seasons, women are very busy on their farms in this side. So if you invite them for a training in the morning, you'll find yourself training yourself in the hall. So also consider what time are they most available. So for me, I did from 1 to 3 because one, that was the time that they were most available, and two, it was during rainy seasons, and at least at that time it wasn't raining. So by the time it starts raining again, you allow them to go after after you've already shared your information that you wanted. And the final challenge was on the time. uh it was a bit short, like, you realize you have a lot of information, and one day may not be enough for you to be able to share all this information. And even from the feedback from the learners, most of them said they wished this could be a continuous training. They wish there was a way maybe we could make it, even if it could have been at least 3 or 4 days or something like that, because one day was not just enough. And it is that challenge that helped me that even motivated me to continue training the high school students, because for these ones, they are available at we are the ones going to their school. So on the time, it's just them creating the time, and it also doesn't cost much. If there is anything, then it's something that we can easily afford to take care of. But for the community and the journalists, they expected some reimbursement. It became a bit of a challenge to continue with the training. Thank you.
I just want to
Thank you
come in
so
here.
much, Harriet.
Sorry,
Oh,
I'm just coming in here really quick to say, if you have any questions, it's a great time to put in the Q&A. And we're also going to have a quick poll coming up on your screen, which is going to ask you where you're from, just because we're curious about where everyone's coming into right now. I'll let you go back to it, Brittany.
okay, thanks, Devin. All right. And Harriet, you really you nailed it too with everything you said, but it's repetition and learning is so important. And also making sure that it's a conversation, right? Even presenters can learn from the audience. There's always a sharing among presenter and student as well. So, like Devin said, if you have any questions, please pop them in. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the lasting impact between here at your high school mentorship, Arzath, your ambassador, your youth ambassadors, Dr. Tamil Selvi, your media literacy club. And because we are running a little short on time, so we'll do this somewhat briefly, but Arzath, let's start with you. Tell us about the impact, especially your participants surprised you when they traveled a long distance to come to the workshop. So tell us about the lasting impact and the youth ambassadors and just really how you see that going and moving forward to continue the message of media literacy.
So my participants, like they are, you said like they are coming from too far away to participate this because they don't get a chance to participate this kind of program in their places. So because of the bad infrastructure. So my thought, like I wanted to work with rural areas, very remote areas. So I wanted to I have selected one workshop in very remote area. So even I selected a place where everyone can accessible. People came from like 60 kilometers distance to participate in this 2-hour program. So that really surprised me. Like I really asked them why did you come? They just wanted to learn something and to give their knowledge to their community. They are really young leaders. I really see the leadership quality from them. So what I've really done is when I'm conducting every workshop, I try to create a community First I thought about creating a Facebook groups, but most of the youths, they are not using that much Facebook. They are mostly active in Instagram. So then I started the WhatsApp group. So everyone have a WhatsApp Sri Lanka, so mostly. So the groups really works well because uh, uh, I could able to share some fact check information. Not everyone joined the group, but most of the people are joined, and few people are very active. That is the real scenario when you try to do something. So in that WhatsApp group, we create digital ninjas, we call them. So when they participate in this workshop, after the workshop, they are joining the group. So what we are doing, as I said, I'm sharing some fact checks and other information which really necessary to know by the people. And some participants also sharing some information to get others' idea. That's how we uh, find out some scams, so they when they receive some messages, like in Sri Lanka, it's very usual to receive like a vacancy opportunities. So like we will get a SMS like you have selected for this kind of job. You can learn from home. Just join this program kind of. So those kind of informations fact checked by the participants. I didn't comment anything. One person shared the information. Is it true or not? Others are commenting. So some guys share their own experience, how these SMS leads you to lost a lot of money kind. So that's how the community things works. And some participants, they really want, so like two or three, they really wanted to do workshops in their community. So from Digizen, we provide some literally slides and toolkits. And if they need really, we have one guy have some experience. He wanted to learn more about the video fact checking. So we have done some online session. So he could able to do that workshop in his community. So that's how these ambassadors work. We call them digital ninjas. They're working like a corpse, but it's happened like after 6 months, it's getting the contribution is getting less. So I wanted to do something to engage their participation. So that's how it works. I wanted to mention, I missed this point. You really need to use your network to conduct this workshop. Most of the time, your network works Dr. Thamu said, using their students, so to get these things because these are new things for us, even for the students. So if they participate, then they will get the idea and then they will get more interest. But first, we have to get them in. So that's why we introduce a program called Digital Citizenship. There is a certificate program. So like they could able to share their certificates on LinkedIn. So it's like kind of motivation. And also we are using a lot of stickers. Mostly I'm doing workshop for the students. So IT students, especially the IT people, they really need stickers when they participate uh, any workshop. It's like a 7 year for them. So I'm trying to do those things. So anyhow, we have to motivate those people. So yeah.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so we do have a couple questions coming in and running short on time. So Harriet and Dr. Tamil Selvi, in 1 minute, tell me about the high school mentorship program, Harriet, how you see that continuing, and then Dr. Tamil Selvi, hop right in about the Media Literacy Club.
I guess I go first. Yes, about the high school mentorship program, I'm hoping to really make this maybe a long-lasting, or even, if possible, make it forever. I'm hoping that actually I've spoken to one or two friends of mine who are so much supportive about that program, and they have promised to provide us with a few computers, because my end game was to form small newsrooms in those schools where these students, we give them hands-on skills, and train them on, other than media and information literacy, we also want to train them on news production, news reporting, news writing, news like the entire news production process and packaging, voicing and everything else. And the best stories will air in our radio station at least once a week. This will motivate them. And I'm hoping that from that team, at the end of the year, after they complete their high school, we'll get the best and work with and give them a platform at our radio station to we want to add them now more skills and make them presenters. So in that way, in one way we at least reduce on the cost of production of news, because at least we are sure at least one story is coming for free, as a result of we are only reaping where we had sown already. So we'll be having at least free stories coming in. And again, after that, we will also have labor coming in. We may not have to go all the way to advertise and all that, when we already have community members, because we are a community radio. And by naturally, a community radio should be run by community members. So having these people who we have already identified and trained and worked with will be a lot easier to absorb them in our radio station than going to look for talent elsewhere. So we are hoping that you're going to partner with a few more schools, because we have already worked with one, and it's so far going on so well. And we've been approached by a few other schools around there that want us to go and train their students on the same. We are hoping to reach, if I reach at least 100 students at the end of 5 years, that will be a dream come true for me. I just hope I'll impact as many lives as I can, and also give as many youths direction as possible. Yeah, that's my future dream. Thank you.
You're already making so much impact, Harriet. All right, Dr. Tamalsavi, over to
Yes.
you very quickly, and then we have two questions to ask.
Yes, very quickly, I'll finish. Actually, the idea of starting a media literacy club was there in my mind when I was in India, but then when I shifted to Oman, that idea was still in mind. And after ICFJ, the training, I thought I should implement that here. But seeing the students' initial reception about after the training, I thought I should not push very fast. So I just waited, and after 2 weeks of impact, 2 weeks of the workshop, I had an impact session. Like I wanted to measure the impact of the program. And those 2 weeks, I just gave them assignments where I asked them continuously to monitor news and posters and anything that they come across anywhere. And I asked them to identify at least 5 fake news. And the entire class came up with different varieties of how it was misinformation, disinformation. They classified it. And slowly, after they gave this, I told them, "Can we start a digital media literacy club?" And they were very interested, and I told them maybe once in a month we can have someone as a truth warrior. They did not like the word warrior. Said, no, no, no. Oman is a peaceful country. We don't want war. We want only peace, and there is no warrior. And so then we said, okay, star fact checker, like that. We will have some term. And then we started to inaugurate. We inaugurated the club, and we are trying to reach to schools and also to people who are hard of hearing. Here, that's actually a major problem that Oman. There are many people who have hard of hearing here. So those community we are trying to reach with experts from sign language, and we are actually having some of our students trained in sign language, so that we can educate them, that community, that group, about media literacy. So because we have inclusivity, and now one big thing I learned in Oman is I cannot expect them to run at the speed at which I'm running. So when I'm interested in starting the club and doing things fast, 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 then they do not want that push. They don't want to be forced to do something. So when I introduce something, it has to be gradual, very slow, and a lot of patience is required to implement this. So that's what I learned from my media literacy training here. And I hope the media literacy club will be very successful.
I'm sure it will be. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's hop to it. We have a couple questions. The first one comes from Maxwell in Ghana. Apart from fact checking and information literacy, which other forms of media literacy issues should advocates focus on? Would any of you, I can provide a couple of approaches, but I would love, these questions are for you, the panelists. So would you like to answer?
Maybe I
Please
think
take
we
the
should.
question again.
Apart
Sorry.
from fact checking and information literacy, which other forms of media literacy issues should advocates focus on? So for one, I'll kick it off. Focusing on critical thinking is one, and as well as civil discourse. So, look, it's having a conversation about differences, but not having it become heated. That is a big part of media literacy as well, is just the conversation and the dialogue about it. And then, of course, artificial intelligence, AI literacy is a huge component that is now in our information ecosystem. But now over to you three. I kicked it off. What other thoughts do you have?
Yeah, I was about to say critical media thinking, which is very, very, very essential. We have to focus on that. And also about the types of bias that we actually carry, hidden biases, confirmation bias, for example, and how it can impact the way we think. So, knowledge about that will be greatly helpful.
And in addition to that, I believe that assessing the credibility of the source is also very important because, some of this misinformation, once you know where it comes from, it will be a lot easier to debunk it. So before the information is shared, make sure you assess the credibility of the source and maybe why did this source first of all have to share this story. And once you understand that, it can now give you the way forward, whether you can share the story or just in journalism we say kill it. Yeah. Thank you.
Arzak.
And yeah, just you can add this digital hygiene and those kind of things also we have to focus as a media literacy things. We can't miss that, we have to protect our information as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question for all of you. Did you encounter resistance to media literacy from political partisans who, for example, perhaps believe in conspiracy theories?
I'll answer this question. Regarding conspiracy theories, I do not face any political party problems at all, but people did believe in conspiracy theories like how some variants are created in the coronavirus. It is made for Muslims so that they don't reproduce, and all these conspiracy theories were actually present. But students, they themselves understood that these are all fake news because they fact checked it with the website, with the health website, Ministry of Health, and it was already debunked that it was fake news. And it was not a major challenge, but of course it was present in the session, in the discussions.
And
I have
on my
faced
side,
yeah,
okay,
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. Okay, sorry. On my side, I don't think we really faced opposition from the politicians, but rather, funnily, here in Kenya, people have political sides. And, once you follow this person, you follow them to the core. You're ready to die for them and die with them. So we had diehards, political diehards, who, okay, at some point, especially when I was training the community, at some point, political examples had to come in. And for example, there was an image of one of the biggest politicians in Kenya during the time that was going around that had been interfered with. It wasn't the original one. And, that's how politics came in. And it kind of, I don't know, it brought, I don't want to call it tension, but let's just say tension in a positive way for the sake of learning. And the funny bit of it is that we were just using this for learning purposes, and for us it helped in such a way that you know this about this politician and you know this about this politician. Okay, before you you judge this other politician, did you confirm first of all the source of the information? Because after sharing with them about disinformation, where information is shared with an intention of causing harm to that person, that kind of opened their eyes. Even the diehards, got to understand that actually it is possible for us to share information about somebody that was just, maliciously brought up in order to damage the image of that person. Yeah.
For my point is like when we touch something related to the religious belief, we should be very aware. That's what time, like it's very sensitive when we work with communities. You maybe get some backslashes. So you can when you do the training or something, you can include the religious figures in your workshop. So from your side, so if you get their like approvals, not approval, like you understand, right? So if this person is with this guy, so he's okay. Kind of mentality some communities have. So we can approach in that way as well. The political things already Harriet mentioned. So even for the political figures, when you show something related to the political parties, you may think everyone know the truth, but some diehard fans may be there in your workshop. So it may be they may get triggered. So those things we have to be very aware when we do that.
All right, well, thank you. Devin, over to you.
Thank you, everyone. I know that this session, we actually went a little bit longer today, which is actually great because everyone's so engaged and just the amount of knowledge that came out from everyone here, incredible. So thank you so much, Temaselvi, Arzath, Harriet, and especially thank you, Brittany, for moderating this session today. Brittany, is there anything that people should know about MediaWise or about Poynter as we close the session?
Yeah, so Devin briefly introduced, but MediaWise is the digital media literacy initiative based at the Poynter Institute. We create media literacy programming for people of all ages, of all cultures, all background, and we work globally across, we're across 30 countries now. So if anyone is interested, would like to learn more, please head over to Poynter, Poynter.org, and there you can find MediaWise. You can find my email, reach out with questions if you have any, or if you would like to bring media literacy programming to your country or your community, please do not hesitate to reach out.
I also say that I saw there's a couple questions in there about people's contact information. I believe the best way to do that would be to reach out to Brittany via her email on Poynter's website, and you can take it from there. Thank you, everyone, once again. I think we'll close it off here today, but an incredible session. Thank you to all of our listeners for being here today and for listening with us. And we're excited. Selvi, Arzath, Harriet, what you do next. And I can't wait to continue following your guys' paths. So we will end it here. Thank you, everyone.